Why do I use the Nikon Z7? There are a ton of great camera systems on the market, so how did I choose the one that I ended up with? Because I was the last one that wanted to make this switch, but I am so glad that I did. So check out my 4 reasons why I made the switch.
It's showtime.
Hello, I'm Mike Lloyd. I run a multi-6-figure boudoir studio here in Silicon Valley, California, and I shoot the Nikon Z7. Now, I was a Canon guy, not because I had any particular brand loyalty, but once you start with a brand and you want to make the switch to another brand, like Sony to Nikon, Canon to Fujifilm, whatever, you're not just buying the new camera body, you got to get new lenses, new batteries, like everything changes. It's not cheap. So there better be a darn good reason why I'm going to make the switch. And I'm so glad I did.
Jeez, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a big decision, isn't it? I mean, I always said if I ever did it, I was going to do it once, and that was it. Well,
I never want to blame my equipment for a lack of performance. That's on me. I want to take accountability and use the tools to the best of their ability. But eventually you get to a point where the tools cannot perform the way you want them to. And I was teaching a workshop and reviewing the images after the workshop. And the images were really sharp because I had the Canon 5D Mark IV, I had the 85mm f1.2L, brilliant portrait lens, super slow to focus, but it is so freaking sharp. I was looking at the photos afterward and they were sharp, but the eyes weren't as sharp as I wanted them to be. And I wasn't recomposing. Yeah, I was shooting at f1.2. You know, I'd move the little autofocus point so it was right over my subject's eye. I was doing all the things right and it wasn't as sharp as I wanted it to be. So I went into my camera shop and I'm like, hey, I've been calibrating these. I don't know what else to do. Is there something up with my equipment? Can I get it checked out? And the guy looked at my photos because I brought a laptop in so we could zoom in and see the pictures in question. He's like, man, that's incredibly sharp. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, but look at the eye. It's not as sharp as I want it to be. And he's like, that's just what cameras do. Turns out I had not really ever zoomed in quite like that from a full body shot from all the way across the room. Yeah, for like tighter headshots, you see the eyes crazy sharp, but I was looking at the images a little bit differently now. I wasn't stoked with it. So he's like, well, okay, your camera can't do that, but check this out. And he hands me a Nikon Z7 with the 50mm lens on it and said, just take my photo. And we set it to f1.8 because that's the widest the lens will go. And it has, you know, the auto eyeball tracker. So I don't have to move a focus point. It just focused on the face. I took the photo, we zoomed in, and holy smokes, it was so effing sharp. I'm like, cool. Take my money. And I basically bought one right there with the 50 and I have not looked back. Since then, I've added a few different lenses on, but I love this lens for 4 main reasons. The first is the autofocus. The second, the lens performance. The third, the weight and the size. And the fourth reason is the longevity of this technology. It is the future. So yeah, I'm going to give you some tech specs on it, but I'm also going to give you my take on our industry. And I think you're really going to want to hear this, so don't check out early. All right, firstly, autofocus. What's so cool about this? Sony was doing auto eyeball finders before. Why was this so cool? Well, I tried the Sonys. I never used Canon, full disclosure, for their mirrorless setups, and they were great. But when I used the Nikon, the one that I really got to play around with, it was so easy. And the reason I love it so much is because when I hold a camera up to my face to photograph my client, we lose our connection. People are so natural and they're just like vibing. They're super cool. And as soon as you pull a camera up, everyone gets all stiff and weird, right? I don't have that anymore because I'm never blocking my face with the camera. I'm holding the camera up, framing the image how I want it, but the little eyeball finder focuses for me, and I shoot everything at f1.8. I almost never miss focus with this camera. So it allows me to maintain connection with my client without having to hold a camera up in front of my face. That alone, phenomenal. Like considerably more natural expressions more often. Like I could get those before, but now it's nothing. It's like weird if I don't get those all the time. So that's what I really love about the autofocus system. Also for shooting video, it has live autofocus. So as you're moving the camera around shooting video, it's still tracking faces, which is super cool technology. Number 2, lens performance. Normally, you get, a Series 2 or a Series 3 lens as the technology gets better, like 70 to 200s, for example. They'll take one version and then they'll upgrade the technology and you'll get the f2.8 UIXH Mark II, right? Or whatever they're called. With the mirrorless setup, they didn't do that. They did all new technology. So these lenses are designed specifically for the camera body, and they're so small and lightweight. It's amazing. But they're crazy sharp, and they're designed specifically for this camera. So it wasn't that they were meant to be used across the entire product line, and they've just been updated to have additional features. They are specifically designed for this camera body. And I think that's why they're so sharp. They're so quick to focus. I haven't found anything wrong with them. They're phenomenal lenses. And they're a little bit less expensive than the previous F-mount. And if you have other lenses from the DSLR lineup, you can get an adapter to use those lenses in the meantime if you don't totally want to scrub everything and buy all new mirrorless lenses. Delivery guys here dropping off albums on my porch.
The point is, folks, I'm going to do anything to get your business.
So that's it. The lenses specifically made for these cameras, they're super sharp, they focus quickly, they look cool. They don't look like old technology, which doesn't really affect the images, but I feel cooler carrying one, let's be real. So there we go. All right, and then number 3, the size and weight. Shooting that Canon 5D4 with the 85mm lens on it, and I'm holding my arms up like this, it's like taking boxing lessons. You don't realize how hard it is to hold your arms up until you have to do it for 10 minutes. And then your arms are like jelly when you're done. And I was going to the chiropractor to get my shoulders adjusted and everything because holding that weight up so much was messing with my shoulders and it was pinching a nerve in my back. Also, carrying my camera bag slung over my shoulder, I was noticing imbalance issues also where I'd get pains in my neck and my shoulder because I had all this heavy equipment in there. So when I'm doing outdoor shoots where I have to move around a lot, I was noticing that. Now I don't have it. This camera is so lightweight. It's so small. The lenses are smaller. Everything is tiny and light. It's amazing. I can do 3 shoots in a day, which is like 13 hours of work, and I'm not sore at the end of it. I don't feel like I've been lifting weights all day. So for the sake of like physical health and longevity, this is a great thing. Now, I'm already in pretty good shape. I exercise, I lift weights. It's not an issue for me right now, but I know moving forward, I would rather have less wear and tear on my body because it builds up over time. And I don't want future issues with my elbows, my shoulders, my neck, any of that. Hard enough on our bodies already. We don't need our cameras to be adding to that. Alrighty, and the last one, mirrorless cameras are the future. Because of how much better the technology is, how much lighter it is, the ease of use, and the technological capabilities, DSLRs are going to get phased out. Camera companies just aren't going to make them. They're now old technology. That's like when DVD or Blu-ray came out, you weren't going to go out and buy a brand new VCR because that's not where technology is going. Your tapes were outdated as soon as that DVD player hit the market. That's where we are right now. Given we've had mirrorless for a few years, I really don't see camera manufacturers expanding their full frame mirrorless lineups. They might still do some of the entry level APS-C cameras, but for pro and semi-pro gear, it's going to be all mirrorless moving forward. Investing in these systems now, switching to the new memory cards, the XQD or the Express Compact Flash, I believe they're called, the other expensive ones, or any of these new lenses, it's going to set you up for future upgrades because you're already going to be in those systems. Whereas eventually the DSLRs will be old technology, like shooting film, and you're going to have to make the full switch anyway. So you might as well get on that. And the technology is so good. You're going to love it. So you can learn more about my journey, the specifics, some more technical details, what I actually use, my complete equipment list, and where to get it over at the boudoirguild.com. I've got a blog post all about it, so I definitely recommend checking that out. And again, making the switch was a big deal, but when I saw the performance, the difference in performance ability, it was a no-brainer for me. Happily traded in everything to get this new system because of the autofocus, the new lenses, the size and weight, and it's the future of camera technology. So let's get on that. All right, there you go. That's why I love shooting this Nikon mirrorless system. I would love for you to check out the blog post, learn more about it. And if you want to know more about building a business with no experience, I've got a really great video about that on this channel as well. So be sure to like and subscribe to get all the future videos. And check out that one about how to get started with no experience. I'll see you in the guild.